Hello and welcome to Franco Quest, a journey into the French language, where I help you learn French easy and fun way. In this video today, we are going to master French alphabets. I'll try to relate some sounds that exist in English for easy understanding. So, on y va! The first letter in French is letter A. A. You have to open your mouth and say A. One word in English which has a similar sound is father. So open your mouth and say A. For example, ami, sha, papa. Remember, it doesn't sound like an A. It doesn't sound like cat. It's always an A sound. Letter A. The second letter in French is letter B. One word in English which has a similar sound as letter B is boy, but it is much more softer and it's never aspirated. For example, belle, bon, bateau. The next letter in French is letter C. C. So letter C has two possible sounds in French. Either it could be hard or a soft sound depending upon the vowel which will follow. I will make a separate video on pronunciation rules, but in this lesson we can see two words. First is car, second is ceci. Next is letter D. D. It sounds exactly like this English word they. For example, don, donner. This is letter E. E. So one of the English word which can really help you master the sound of this letter is the word the. Drop the th and what you are left with is the sound of this letter in French. For example, le, me. Next letter we have is letter F. F. It sounds like the same F in English as in the word fish. For example, in French we have words like feu, roi, frère. Next is letter G. G. Just like letter C, G also has two distinct sounds. Either it could be soft sound or it could be hard sound. For example, giraffe, gare. Letter H is quite unique letter in French, and H is almost never pronounced. For example, homme, héros. Letter E. E. This French letter E has a similar sound which you can feel it in the English word see. S-E-E, see. For example, ami, si, midi. Okay, next we have letter G. G. Two words in English that can help us memorize the sound of letter G could be measure or beige. Je sound. For example, je, joli, jupe. Letter K. K. K has a similar sound as in English word kite, but it is less aspirated. For example, kilo, karate. Letter L has similar pronunciation as English letter L. For example, livre, L. Next letter is letter M. M. It is almost similar as English M, but the lips touch each other softly. For example, pomme, mille. Then we have letter N. N. For example, non, noir, animal. Next we have letter O. O. It's very easy to say, just with the round shape of your lips. O. For example, porte, orange. Letter P. P. Remember, there is no aspiration in letter P. It's not said as P sound. For example, porte, pomme, Paris. In English, we have a bit of aspiration. We'd say Paris. But in French, we'd say Paris. Next we have letter Q. Q. It's always followed by a U in French and it sounds like a K. For example, qui, quand. I feel the most tricky letter to master in French is the letter R. R. Because this is a sound which comes from the throat and this sound doesn't exist in English. So when you try to clear your throat, for example, that is the sound which forms when you say this letter. For example, R, R. For example, merci, Paris, porte. Next we have letter S. S. S can have different sounds. It could be S or a Z depending upon the location of S and what kind of letters it is with. For example, soleil, maison, poisson. Next we have letter T. T. It is pronounced much softer as compared to English and there is no aspiration. For example, table. In English we say table. T sound, but in French it is T. Table. Another example is tête. Letter U. U. It has a unique pronunciation and this does not exist in English. Easy way to form this sound is to make a round shape of your lips and then push the lips forward. U. For example, tu, jupe. V. V. One English word where we can find a similar sound as letter V in French is wine. In French, we can say, for example, will, venir. Double V. Double V. So basically it looks like that there are two V's put together. That's why they call it double V. And normally it's rare to find double V in words in French, but it can exist in loan words which are used in other language but with the hint of French. So in English we say weekend, but in French we'll say weekend. Weekend. Letter X. X. X normally have a sound of X or X, or it can be silent. We can say texte, examen, prix. The second last letter in French is Y. Y. The sound of this letter is exactly the same sound as the French letter E, and it can also sound like a je. For example, style, gymnase, ye. The last letter in French we have is letter Z. Z. It has almost a similar sound as the English z sound, and the examples we have here is zèbre, zo. Now that you have mastered French alphabets, it's time to revise. So you will repeat after me. The first one is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. If you like this video and you want me to make more content like this, click on the bell icon and subscribe for more.